Hi, how's going on everyone? Welcome back to another lecture of Mabu College. I'm your instructor, Mabu Nakagawa. Today, I want to be going through restaurant management. Have you worked in the food industry such as restaurant, night bar, tavern, or even farmer? I believe most of you guys ought to have such similar job experiences as server, waiter, and waitress. If you are new to the food industry, you might want to check out today's video because I guess it's quite helpful for you to get a deeper pre-knowledge about the general restaurant business. If you learned something great from my video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. If you can stay tuned with me, of course I always welcome you. Personally, I had a job experience with a server when I was in Los Angeles. I loved my job for delivering food and serving my customers with hospitality because I was so happy to receive tips as a gratitude token after payment. In Japan, there is no tipping system at a restaurant. Tipping is not a part of Japanese culture, so I was willing to work for a food industry in Los Angeles. Also, what was good to work in a restaurant was I learned many things with the communication skill in English. I was a college student and I was eager to study English by all means. So I loved to interact with many people in Los Angeles with a different race, identity, and a sense of humor. I enjoyed so much improving myself though. In terms of managing a restaurant as a business owner, I never cared or look at the fact that restaurant management is such a tough, patient, and responsible job I've ever seen. I completely forgot who told me about this story, but I remember an instructor at my ex-college told me that there was no occupations for Asian immigrants to survive in Los Angeles after World War II broke out a long time ago. Their language skill was so limited, and the hate crimes and the violence against the Asian community was so horrible back in the day. However, under such a terrible circumstance, they had to combat the hate because they had their family to protect and look after. So they started doing their dirty jobs. From Japanese community, some people became gardeners, others became sushi chef. Their job had to be its related Japanese traditions and culture. College degree, master's degree was not required to start up their food business. When I was a child, of course. I have two uncles managing sushi restaurant, but both of them don't have a degree. They just practice to ensure the safety of the food served in a restaurant. So overall, it was relatively easier to run the food business in Japan 30, 40 years ago or something like that. However, everything changed once tech industry dramatically grew up. You know what happened, right? What happened is that a lot of food business owners made a massive initial investment for a POS system. It's like a motherboard of your restaurant where you record your customers' orders. Your chef receives them, and then you make invoice in no time flat. With this kind of operation system developed so fast, the entire food market in Japan developed on the same level. So the food business market in Japan is getting super competitive as other big franchise competitors like Sushiro also increased their branch locations nationwide. They closed some of them last year due to the spread of coronavirus, but they never go bankruptcy because their leaders are incredibly smart. They know how to survive. Then, how would you compete them on the same platform, on the same market? How would you be able to run your small-scale restaurant in the long term? Today, I'm gonna give you some tips on what to do and what not to do with the basic restaurant management. Hopefully, you can review your strategy and make the use of another business sector where you want to enter. I'm making this video because I want to improve more about my business mind, okay? Again, just let me repeat one more time, not to confuse you guys. Today's video is not intended to make you rich. but make you understand how Japanese business owners have to close their restaurant under this coronavirus pandemic. I remade pretty much same contents provided by a famous Japanese YouTuber Nakata-san. I want to share with you in the world as well. Similar things about the food business crisis might have happened to your home country, but I want you to take a close look at some tips I'm just about to give you and take a prompt action for your future. Sounds all good? Yes, sir. Now, Mabu Nakagawa is coming for you. Managing a restaurant involves many different duties and activities. What's going to happen to the food industry in Japan under this ongoing coronavirus pandemic? Not competitive, but it's quite difficult to even keep running the restaurant business in Japan. Restaurant management is not easy going. With being said that, a lot of people are launching a new business with food. In a previous video with Fire, I would have told you that you should start up your new business as soon as possible. You want to open a cafe, sushi bar, a Japanese restaurant, and many more. Whatever you do, that's great. I watched some YouTube channel managing a yakiniku restaurant, but they failed. When I watched it, I wasn't really interested in the restaurant management, but actually I was taken aback by the whole story about how their restaurant business was corrupted. Here are some tips you never want to do. I tell you something you never want to do first, because it's more important than actually you should do. For the second chapter of today's video, I'll explain to you more details on what you should do. Okay? Now, basically in terms of business restaurant management, defense is much more critical than attack. Take a look at the heads up. You have to be very careful about the massive estimated expenses. As I outlined in the first subtitle, you have to spend money for tenant fee, labor cost, interior equipment, food ingredients, and more. There is one person who retired at the age of 65, and he opened his favorite cafe with his severance pay. But for some reasons, he ended up to close his cafe within half of a year. Why? What happened? Well, I think it should be pretty shocking for him, because being a cafe owner was his dream. He opened his cafe only a few blocks away from the local station in Tokyo. Property where he ran the cafe was pretty good deal. He was intrigued by a fashionable interior equipment and the store atmosphere. He loved antique table, chair, and all kinds of expensive accessories were fit into the store. Among which that, he made so much passion to serve a tasty coffee with high quality at a surprisingly cheap price at $5 to his customers, because he wanted to satisfy his customers. He was crazy about quality. It sounds so fantastic, doesn't it? Plus, he hired a so cute and sexy waitress for a good pay, like Hooters. The conditions should be all met. Location is good. Store design is so fashionable. The taste of coffee is so excellent. It hit the spot. The price is relatively cheaper than other competitors provide, and servers are so cute. What else is missing? What makes you think it's imperfect? Hell no. If I'm his customers, I'm gonna love to have such a delicious coffee at the earliest opportunity, because it's pretty good deal. Who else is down? If you wanna join me, let's go now, but not after a few months. You know why? Because he's gonna be closing his store soon. Oh my gosh, he closes the cafe. If I tell him, no questions, he's gonna be so mad. I know he is. What's wrong? What's wrong with me? Come on. This cafe owner made a huge initial investment for a startup. Well calculated, well business planned, and well prepared for everything he could have thought. What the hell is the matter with me? You know what's not good about him? Everything. Holy. If you give me your presentation for your startup business plan and I tell you everything you do is a piece of crap, what will you feel? Are you gonna be so happy? Not really. I think I'm gonna break your heart. Here's why. First things I wanna follow up is tenant fee or rent nearby station is too expensive in Tokyo. It's completely outrageous for a small-scale business owner to open a small cafe in the center of Tokyo. It's like you kill flies with bazooka. You don't know where you should target. Fashionable interior art is not good either. If you decorate modern art on a wall at a cafe in Shinjuku Station where many businessmen round up, who cares about art? Who wants to enjoy store atmosphere in a business hour? Very, very risky investment, right? I'm just giving you an example of how to spend money right now. Think about the ingredient expenses as well. It's good you have a cup of coffee with high quality, but if unit cost is too high, apparently everything else will be so high. You have to minimize your cost of labor too. Likewise, whatever you do in business, you end up to lose money. Did you get my point? That's right. This business owner only sought out for what he wanted. He didn't do enough research on what he needed. That's why he failed. As I said, managing a restaurant involves many different duties and activities. Effective restaurant management strategy aims to meet customers' need while maintaining efficient and sustainable operations on a daily basis. You know why Shiga Prefecture has too many ramen restaurants, especially on a national road? Because their regular customers tend to be truck drivers who drive a long distance all the way from north to south. They love to eat oily ramen noodle with tonkotsu soup. A parking lot is free and the driver can take a nap after eating ramen noodle in the middle of the night. Shiga has a vast land. So, real estate is cheaper than that in Tokyo. That's why ramen business in the countryside can be more successful. That could be all good for both buyer and vendor, right? That's why business is doable. The same thing was supposed to be happened to this cafe owner too. He didn't really estimate the overall expenses as well before he started his new business. That's why he failed. Well, I guess many of you guys understand easily what I'm talking about at this point because it makes sense, but I can't laugh at him. When you do something new for your business, you are sure you are doing the right things, but how can you possibly prove you are doing okay? I think you can compare this case study to my YouTube activity too. I started to do YouTube because I wanted to. I didn't really prioritize what the market was needed. I just kept making my YouTube videos based on what I liked. That's good. That's absolutely good. But if you're not linked to what my viewers need, they are not coming back to my channel forever. In terms of demand and supply concept, my YouTube channel has something in common to do with restaurant management. All things considered, I think unlike my YouTube videos, restaurants are fast-paced environment where mistakes are often costly. So restaurant owner will need to minimize huge expense to avoid being caught off guard by obstacles and challenges. In Japan last year, restaurant industry was considered as least successful job sector. I mean, the most frequent business where goes bankruptcy within a year. Within a year, folks. About 1 out of a restaurant researched by Teikoku Data Bank closed their business. Almost 20%. Oh man, that's a huge number, folks. It's gone like a firework. Bam! Bam! You know why? Because many of people get trapped. They spend too much money for initial investment. Why? Speaking of a new business that you are interested in, you can imagine you can make money on your own from and you can monetize over the short period of time. Restaurant management is the first idea you can come up in your brain in the first place, like impulse brainstorming. Let's say when you are self-employed, there are a variety of ways in which you can enter a different market. No one market entry strategy works for all domestic markets, right? Direct exporting might be a most appropriate strategy in one market, while in another you might need to set up a joint venture, and in another you might well license your manufacturing. Franchising sounds good. Partnership is way greater, and buying company is fabulous, but going up the ladder is super challenging as compared to restaurant business. So restaurant business might sounds easier to do than the technology business with AI, IoT, big data, and DX, digital transformation. People started food business with passion, dream, and ambitions. They fail, and as a result, they go out of business. That's how they get trapped. When you enter a food market, you visualize one ideal goal after another. Expanding your food business to new market allows you to reach vast numbers of potential customers and grow your revenue massively. But the things is not easy. You bring back your old memory that you had worked so hard until you retire at the age of 65, and now you are free. You're free to go. You had your dream. You can do whatever you want to do with the severance pay that you received from your ex-company. Then you can't control your mindset because your desire urges you to do whatever you want to do, like you jack off. That's scary. Like from my old friend in America. Can you stop masturbating for 3 years? I don't think so. Even 3 years? No way. If you start your new business with food, you should focus more on customers' needs than what you want to do. That's my personal suggestion, folks. In Japan, the initial cost to open a branch store seems to cost 70,000 US dollar on average. If you receive your severance pay at 230,000 US dollar, that means you lose one third of it. Oh my gosh, that's a huge money. I think you shouldn't deserve it. Very, very risky investment, right? Besides, constant cost and fixed cost put too much pressure on you every single month. I don't think it's clever. Hell no. That's a point, folks. In other words, when talking about doing restaurant management, you have to keep in mind that expense is the most important factor. That's right. Here it is. I think I told you similar things before when you rewind my previous video with fire. It's quite similar to keeping a track on your household account book every day. I know you want to be rich and wanting money so badly in the short term, but when you guys listen to me and need to reduce expenses, you feel so down because it's too boring to save money. I see a bunch of American friends of mine. They like to spend money in a snap because it's fun. Same as playing basketball. Look, when you play ball, you hate to play tough on defense because it's boring. But you love shooting because it's fun. Business is similar to basketball, right? Defense is a key. If you play at Duke or UCLA, you have to play defense. What matters is that you always have to reduce unnecessary expenses as well as miscellaneous expenses. More like you have to think about how to reduce expenses rather than how to make profit on a daily basis. Look at the chess, Japanese shogi. You don't want to let 9 pawns move forward to defeat your opponent at the same time. With no strategies, that's suicide. You're gonna get punched. You don't want to play stupid. You get ready for a strong defense first and then make the move forward, okay? Please note.